Hi, this is the beginning of our review. Before we get into the rest, the movie's a 9.5 out of 10. It's amazing. Go watch it. And now, everything we say after this is spoilers. Hey, Internet, it's me. Now it's not quite October yet, so not entirely time for the horror marathon, but we saw a movie that I want to talk about anyway. And it was No One Can Save You, right? That's the name?
I think so. No.
Yeah. Um, So you're like the alien sci-fi guy. I'm usually more of like the fantasy guy. So I'm gonna go first because I just want to say this before because you'll probably have better things to say. That was so good. Like there were two things that stuck out to me. The one was it was just a scene, but when she's in the red beam, the way they played with the audio, like she would scream and then the beam would freeze her and the audio like the scream would kind of echo and just disperse. And then once the beam let her go, the scream continued. I don't know. It's hard to explain.
It was like they were playing with time.
Yeah, it was amazing. And the second thing is more of an overall. The whole movie, they just made everything feel so hopeless. Which I know ties into the title and it's the whole point, but just they executed it really well. Like, every single time you think she's got a leg up, or she found a safe space, or she found some way out, or something was going her way, no. And just, they really did a great job of that. Like, it's not often you find a movie that can get a vibe like that and carry it all the way through. Like, No Escape did, and As Above, So Below. That's pretty much the only other two movies I can come up with, and those are some of my favorite movies ever. So, I really loved what they did. But now you say words.
Visually, this movie was a delight.
Yes. Yeah.
Start to finish, it was just beautiful, jaw-dropping. My eyes were popping the whole time. It was just like, oh my god, aliens everywhere you look, and they're just cinematic and epic, and everything is great. But then, I realized that this is the movie I have been waiting for my whole life, because there was only one line of dialogue
that was
in
something,
the whole movie.
Yes. That didn't even occur to me till the very end. That she said maybe 3 words the whole movie, and it was just her uttering to herself like "no" or something like that.
There's one line where she said, "I'm so sorry, Maud," and that was it.
Yeah.
No other lines were specifically spoken out loud. It was just more like expletives and just thinking to yourself, kind of whispering or muttering under your breath.
Yeah.
It was like, I don't know who this chick is, but she's like the next like Jodie Foster, Helen Hunt, I don't know, Sigourney Weaver, Jamie Lee Curtis. Like, she carried the whole movie, and her emotions were on point, and everything she felt, I felt.
Her expression and her movements and everything would just... It was more than enough to convey everything.
Yes.
She never needed to say a word.
Yes. Yeah, my jaw was on the floor the whole time until the very end. Spoiler alerts, if you don't want to know, turn it off right now. But it was an alien and invasion movie, which I always love. But the end, she got abducted. The aliens looked into her mind, saw her past, and then, what do you think happened? Try and interpret the movie. What do you think? Do you think, to me, it was like they saw her murder her best friend, and they already know she killed other aliens. Did they like, look, we know you're badass. You've done badass things to humans too. We'll let you live peacefully because we see you want that if you let us invade Earth. We'll live in harmony with you.
Yeah, I didn't really... I'm sure there's like deep symbolism or something we're not getting, but I wasn't 100% on the ending either. Because like... I thought of it more of like a sympathy kind of thing, like they're seeing her memories and they feel bad for, I don't know, whatever is tormenting her. Her friend died and everyone hates her and blah, blah, blah. And so they're like, okay, we'll let you live out your happy life thing because everything else sucks for you. But like, I don't know, why her of every human in the world? Like, there has to be other people in that position, and probably some even worse. Like,
I think it was just they didn't want to fight her anymore. It was more hassle than it was worth to fight her. So
yeah,
they're
but
like,
no one
look,
else fought back.
yeah, what? We don't know. Maybe they'll come out with another. I would love to see this same team come out with another alien invasion movie of another family person. I just want this whole thing to continue because it was just so good.
Yeah.
But I think they were just like, look, you've done some shitty things. You're all alone. If you just shut up about it and stop fighting us, we're going to take over everybody else except for you, and we'll be your friend, and we'll, let you come out of your house. You'll have a good time with us.
Although, I mean, did you see her house and her property? Like, with that deck and the water and everything? Like,
that was a nice place.
I wouldn't feel bad about not leaving my house. Like,
right.
that's kind of what I want.
Right. But when the whole town hates it.
Yeah.
I get it.
But yeah, that... Man, what a trip that movie was.
Oh my
gosh.
gosh.
The whole time, it really... Like I mentioned, No Escape, and it kind of felt like that again. Like you mentioned before we even started, it was only an hour and a half. It was a short movie. And first of all, it felt longer, but in a good way. But second of all, they did so much in that hour and a half. Like, you went through the highlights of her first day, of her just doing her random day-to-day crap. And then, pretty much immediately after that, it just went into it. And then it never stopped.
Nope.
Like, the whole time, she's on the run, and more things are happening. And just insanity.
Just a feast to behold.
And I like to... Like, you saw the aliens pretty early on.
Mm-hmm.
But they still kind of made you wait for it. Like, we saw them, but they were always partially obscured. Like, there was darkness, or there was the grate in the way,
mm-hmm.
or she saw them via reflection.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we didn't see a whole alien until she killed it.
Yeah.
And then she killed it, and that was the first time we actually saw it.
Yeah, it looked cool as crap.
Yes. And it was your traditional, gray man alien.
Oh, there were so many shots.
The way they played with the proportions, and like there were multiple size and shape ones.
That little one in the hallway when it was
really
backing her into the room and it was just doing the thing in the hallway and standing there. I'm like, that's the coolest shot ever.
And then there was 5 more shots after that were better.
And then there was the one where
the house alien.
The alien opened the door and it was just like the half face peering in through the door. I'm like, oh my god, that was like arm on my hair. It's hair on my arm standing on end. And then the big one over the house, and as it was crawling out the house.
Yeah.
Oh, phenomenal.
The big one on top of the house. Even the shot where she's running through the garden and you just see, like,
it chasing
part
her,
of the head of the big one peeking over the garage.
Oh, yeah.
And you don't even notice it right away. Like, it cuts to her, cuts back, and you hear it
just that little gray in all the eyes.
Yeah.
That little eye shine.
You get, like, the Kilroy, where it's just the top of its head and its eyes. And they really, cinematically, like, these people must just love aliens and alien movies, because they really...
Everything I've always wanted to see, they did.
Visually, this is exactly what you want in an alien movie.
Right. There's the beautiful shots of the clouds and the aliens coming down,
mm-hmm.
all the rays...
They did the thing I always say I want to. And I know I've talked to you about this a million of times. But the thing I always want in an alien movie is just impossibility. And like the thing that I always mention that I always said would be the coolest effect is a spaceship is just far away or you can't even see it. And then it just zooms up to right above you, just impossibly fast. Like it's just, you can't comprehend the speed or the scope of it. It's just... It's not there, and then it is. And you get a sense of motion, but you just can't even comprehend. And they did that. With the one that eventually sucked her up at the end, as it came in, like, it was just there.
Yeah.
And that's what I always wanted someone to do, is just like, you always see it slowly creeping in,
right? Or
you see it chasing in the background. This, you didn't see it. Like,
it was just like...
It was just there. And that's what I always wanted, to just... I don't know, they pulled off so many shots that I'm not a sci-fi person, and so much of this I was just completely geeking out over the whole time.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's exactly how, even as a non-sci-fi fan, this is how I wanted an alien movie to look.
Oh, yeah. Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Like, visually, this better be at the Oscars, honestly. It
won't be, but it's so freaking good. Like, the last time I remember enjoying a movie like this was The Vast of the Night.
Yeah.
And that didn't even have aliens in it.
No. But that was more for, like, the direction. Maybe the cinematography.
That was great. That was great acting and cinematography
and the dialogue.
But yeah, that was such a good, moody movie, and I'm just hard pressed. Like before that, like you said, No Escape, and that was maybe 5 years before that.
Yeah.
And maybe Mad Max was that same year. And like, there's so few movies that just get you hyped up the way this one does.
That's like I said, like No Escape and As Above, So Below are the only two that come to mind that really just they build that tension and that atmosphere, and then they maintain it the whole time. And like those are two of like my top 10 favorite movies ever.
Oh, this is definitely a top 10.
This is like I never thought I'd say it about just a straight up alien invasion movie, but this is probably in my top 10. Like, this was just unbelievably good.
Oh my god, so good.
And it didn't even get a theatrical release either.
Just on Hulu.
Yeah, it was just dropped on a streaming service.
Right.
No real fanfare. I mean, I know there can't be fanfare right now because of the strikes, but just... This was an insane thing to just drop out of nowhere.
Oh my gosh.
So, yeah, I don't know. If you haven't heard of this movie, haven't seen this movie somehow, just go watch this movie. Like, if you're watching this video, it's because you have heard of or probably seen it. But if you somehow haven't and don't mind that we just spoiled a lot of it for you, seriously go watch this movie. It is astounding.
Oh my gosh. Signs has been my number one forever, and I might have to dethrone it because this was just so much.
If this movie gets you to not bring up Signs anymore, then this is the best movie ever.
It's just so damn good.
It really, really was.
The alien went threw the fridge open, and it, the feet, and then the hands, and then it just slowly, and then she just goes wah, and you're just like, holy shit!
I love to again going back to the hopelessness of it. We're just gonna geek out about this movie. When she had the door nailed up, and she thought she was safe, and the nails started popping in. Yeah. And then she ducked around the corner, and the way it just shot open, and everything just burst out of the way.
Oh my god, yes.
And then as soon as she started to peek, the couch just got flung toward her into the room. Just everything was so just explosive and just visceral and hard-hitting. It was just...
Oh, when...
You got such an impact from everything.
When she was sneaking up on the alien, she was running toward an alien, just went...
Oh,
and it threw her through the wall, like... Holy shit!
That was like a goosebump moment. That was amazing.
Oh my god, the whole movie was just start to finish, just excellent.
And there were so many of those moments too. Like that's the thing. Like we could spend another 10 minutes just listing every scene and moment that just hits you.
Right?
It was so good.
Oh my gosh. Kaitlyn Dever, I don't know who she is. I don't know what she's been in otherwise.
She needs to be in more stuff.
But she was just phenomenal as an actor.
I'm trying to think... Would this be a 10 out of 10 movie?
I'm going to say yes. Maybe 9.5 because the ending.
Yeah. If I have any complaint, it is the ending. It didn't 100% land for me.
Like, I was hoping they would take her into the ship, and they did, and I was pleased with everything I saw in the ship. And then the ending is kind of... I know a lot of movies, it's hard to come up with an... Like, how is one girl going to survive an alien invasion if it's not that?
I mean...
Like, would you have been okay if they would have killed her?
Honestly, I was thinking about that as it was going, because there was a couple times where it seemed like they would.
Right? She got stabbed in the woods, and, like, how do you come back from that?
I mean, I think I would have been okay with not a happy ending. Like, I feel like too many movies try too hard for a happy ending, and sometimes it feels like a cop-out. And this one didn't necessarily feel like a cop-out, but it also just... I don't know, it didn't land for me. It wasn't the best. It wasn't. It was. I don't know what I would rather it be.
It was fine,
but I didn't love it.
It was fine.
Yeah,
it was fine because I didn't know how they were going to end it either. Like, how do you, with all that awesomeness, how do you end the movie?
And even now that I've seen it and thought about it, like I have no idea what a better approach would have been,
other than having her die.
I don't know if I love the one they went with.
Right.
So yeah, I'm gonna say 9.5 as well. Like, if I have to rate this, it's 9.5. Like, it's almost perfect. It's just the ending didn't land.
What about
But it's so good.
The big alien that was chasing her and it went over the top of the house?
Mm-hmm.
There was one part where the alien was coming down off the house and it, like, misstepped and
Yes.
It fell and like looked like it got hurt. How did that happen? Did you catch what happened?
I don't know if it's...
Did it slipped?
I wasn't sure if it slipped or if there was some sort of, I don't know, somehow it got injured or some environmental thing or something. I don't know. But then...
That's the only thing I was wondering, because I think they wanted just to do it, have it crawl upside down with his head back.
Yeah.
Just to get that extra creep, so they're like, well, how are we going to do that? Well, let's just have it.
You did see when it put its one arm down, like it put it on, I don't know if it was a gutter or flashing or something, but it crumpled under the arm a little.
That could have been it.
So the only thing
Maybe
I was thinking is
it fell.
it was too big, too heavy, too strong, whatever, and it just crumpled and
oh
rolled
no,
off.
I have to watch the movie again and see what happened. Oh, pity.
But, that big alien, like, I mean, bigger is better in a lot of things, but that one, the scenes with that one were the best, because it was just so big, and there's just so little she could do against it. Like, it was just...
I don't know.
It was excellent.
I don't know if I have a favorite one. Like, there was just... Each of the three had their own spectacular moments.
Yes. Agreed.
So it's hard for me...
Because the proportions were so wrong.
Yeah.
Like, the other ones... The first one was human shape.
Right.
And then the second one, it was short,
Small,
the arms
long,
were too long.
Long arms and big hands.
But it was it was a primate at least. But the big one was just so impossible, proportion-wise. It was like insectoid almost.
Yeah.
And so it just had that extra unnatural, creepy factor to it that just... I don't know, I liked all the movements of that one better.
Yeah.
And then when its arms, like, it did the posing and the bending of its arms,
yeah.
and it was just multi-articulated, that was... I don't know, I loved that big one. Just the way it moved and the way it looked.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. I don't know if I can play favorites right now. I'd have to watch it again. They were all just so cool.
You're going to watch it again anyway.
I really like that little one. That little
You're
one.
Go home and watch it again tonight.
Like, it was like when... it threw the pan up against the door with the light.
Oh, that was so cool.
The little one was on the other side of the light, and it stopped at the light.
When his
like,
face came
through
the
light, you're like,
oh yeah.
shit. And then it just kind of backed her down the hallway like it was corralling her to where it wanted her to go.
Yeah.
And then just that hallway scene with
and then
just
it did the Here's Johnny through the door.
Oh, everything is just so fucking creepy. Like, it was straight out of my nightmares. Like, everything I thought Aliens would be is what this movie was.
Yeah. Yeah, seriously, for anyone that's scared of aliens... This will be the most effective horror movie.
Yeah.
There are so many scenes here that would be absolute nightmare fodder.
Oh, if I was at my house in the middle of the night just watching this, I would absolutely be sleeping with the lights on tonight.
There were so many just atmospheric, just really effective moments.
Oh,
that would This, for sure, not kid-friendly. Not because there's gore or nudity or swearing or anything like that, but I really feel like this would creep the hell out of kids.
Yeah. And I love that
and adults.
You kind of hit on it before, but I love that every decision she made was smart. But there was always something blocking her. Yes. Always that feeling of hopelessness. Like, how is she going to go into the police and not be able to get their help? And then it worked.
Yes.
And you found out why. And then she decides to get on a bus and get out of town. And she couldn't do that.
Yes.
And you're like, holy shit.
And even when she's going through town, like... Because at first you're like, well, she's not going to go all the way to town. Just stop at the first house. Like, I was thinking as she was on her bicycle, like, I could see a house in the background. Just stop at the first house you see. And then she does. And you're like, oh, okay, so you can't. And then, when she does get to town, and she's not stopping and talking to the people around her... But as they showed earlier, and in that scene, they're all whispering and staring and pointing, like they're clearly not on her side. And later we find out why, and there's a whole thing. And then, like you said, in the police station, and just everything she did, like you said, she made the right moves. And that's so rare in a horror movie, too. Like, people always make the dumbest possible decision. It's like that one, I forget what company it was for, they were selling something. But it was a commercial, and they're like, oh... The killer's after us. Should we go to the running car or hide in the shed full of chainsaws?
Right, yeah.
And, I mean, it's a trope and a joke, but that really is how people act in horror movies. They make the stupidest possible decision every time.
Mm-hmm.
The movie House of Wax is the first one that comes to mind. When they start on the outskirts of town, all they have to do is turn the hell around and the movie's over. But they don't. They go into town and they wander around and they go into that wax museum, and then everything bad happens to them, All because they're too dumb to go to the place they already know they don't want to go. And in here, she didn't do any of that. Like, she thought her house was safe, so she tried to fortify herself and protect herself and have the home team advantage. And then when it wasn't safe anymore, she tried to get away. When she realized she couldn't, she went back to her house and tried to defend herself. Like, she was always making the right call and making the smart decision and doing what you'd like to think you'd do in the same scenario.
Mm-hmm.
So it was so much easier to get invested in the movie because you could relate better.
Right.
Because she's not an idiot. Like, you're not watching it yelling at the screen like, don't fucking do that.
Right.
Like, you're just watching going, oh yeah, this is what I would do. This should be safe.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then every time it's not because it's her fault. It's because insanity is happening.
Was it weird that she didn't have a cell phone?
No, because I wasn't 100% clear on, like, the time here.
Well,
like, you assume it's modern because of, like, the cars and
they
stuff.
They showed the gravestone, and the gravestone said that her friend died in 2012.
Yeah.
And that was when they were kids, so you gotta think it's been at least 10 years.
It probably was modern time, but I don't know, the way they set up the village and the way you saw everything, like, it didn't feel out of place to not have one.
The only thing I could think of is,
like, even her
because her mom is dead.
Phone.
Her mom is dead. There was no mention of a dad. There's no siblings. It was all her, all alone in a house.
Her best friend is dead.
Yeah,
the guy she likes hates her.
Who would she have to call with a cell phone? Like, why would she need one?
Well, so she's not going to text or call anyone. She's not going to be on social media. The whole town hates her.
Yeah. So I guess, but it was still kind of weird that there was no cell phone.
And it's funny because that's a big thing that people talk about all the time is, in the modern era, when you're writing a horror movie or watching a horror movie, like, it's hard to turn that part of your brain off because every movie could be solved with a smartphone.
Right.
Always. Like, every time it's dark, or the power goes out, or the phone line's down, you can't call the police, or your car is broken, or whatever the case is, a smartphone fixes all those issues. You have a flashlight, you can get Uber, you get Signal, whatever. But here, I don't know, I never thought about it. Like, it just never occurred to me, if she had a phone. And even if she did, I don't think anything would have changed.
No, the aliens, they have the tech to mess with electronics.
They disabled her car and everything else, even remotely electric, so
yeah,
a phone wouldn't have mattered. Like, even if she had one, everything would have hit exactly the same as it did. Probably. It would have been disabled right in the beginning with everything else.
Yeah, probably.
But yeah.
Okay, so this video is already like 50 hours long.
Yeah, I don't know how long we just rambled, but
so we just told you about the whole entire movie. If you haven't seen it, go frickin' see it. What are you doing? Yeah. Why are you listening to us?
In fact, I'm gonna cut this out. So, okay, so there was just a weird jump there, but so yeah, we spoiled everything now, but the movie's amazing. Definitely go watch it. Seriously, if you like horror movies or sci-fi movies or just really good suspense, edge of your seat kind of stuff, like, this checks all the boxes.
Yes.
So if you like movies, watch this one.
This is the best movie of the year. Best movie of last year.
Everything Everywhere was last year, wasn't it?
I like this better than that.
They're both in my top 10. I don't know if I could play a favorite without watching them both again.
I like this better than that. The only thing that I could think could beat it is Godzilla -1 coming out later this year, but I don't know if it will because this was just so damn good. This was the movie I've been waiting for my whole damn life. This is all downhill from here.
Do the same thing, but with fantasy, and that'd be my movie.
Holy shit, could you imagine?
I don't know how you would do that. I don't know how you would get that same vibe, but if someone pulls that off, just take all my money.
Right.
Just, I'll pay to watch it every time I watch it.
I hate to say this isn't a top 10 movie for me because this is a Disney movie. Disney owns this movie.
Yeah.
So Disney movie might be my number one movie.
It was the first thing I thought about when we were watching it and I saw the 20th Century Pictures. I'm like, so Disney makes horror movies now. And then Disney makes a hell of a horror movie, which is so weird to say. But, I mean, at one point Disney published Insane Clown Posse. So, whatever. Disney owns the world. All hail our mouse overlord. But yeah, no more rambling. Go watch the movie. It's the best movie.